Now he's making that look easy. That's not easy. On the piano, all of those runs.
Awesome. That section is probably the most difficult piece in the entire piece, and that was great.
So just before we go on, this is very interesting. So first of all, he's on a nylon string guitar, which is a classical guitar and not an acoustic guitar. You know, the strings are made of a different material. On a classical guitar, they're nylon, and an acoustic guitar, they're steel strings. I'm noticing in his right hand, he doesn't have the nails out, which typically a classical guitarist will have their nails grown out a little bit so they can plug the strings. So he's obviously playing more with the pads of his fingers, which gives a rounder sound. Doesn't sound as bright as it would typically be with a classical guitarist. Now, as I know the piece well, I find it quite interesting that he's changing the arrangement a little bit. So he's not taking the piano piece and trying to do an exact copy of it on the guitar or as close as. He's actually slightly changed some of the sections, which is a bold move to change Mozart, but it works. He knows what he's doing. I couldn't help but laugh a little bit because I could see him getting distracted in the video because the kids are playing in the background. I take it those are his kids. And I know all too well whenever you're trying to film something and you've got a busy household, it's not the easiest thing to do. But he's retaining his composure very well. If that was me, I would probably have had to stop and restart. But he's kept on through, so well done. He's really keeping the dance feel of the song because it really is a march or like a Turkish dance. One of the things I really like about his arrangement is that little descending pattern that he's got, because it's very different to what we've got from the original, which would be this. So you can hear it's slightly different to what he's doing. So let's see what he does with the next little section, which moves to the key of A major, coming from A minor, which is the key of the piece.
Before he goes into the next section, I just want to say that it's nice to see him using the classical guitar, the nylon string guitar. I haven't seen him use it too much. Very appropriate here, obviously, right? Classical guitar, classical song. Let's get back to it. Very cool. Nice.
Excellent. Another thing I think, am I wrong on this, or is that a 3/4 size guitar? I don't think that's a full size classical guitar. The body looks very small. Maybe he's quite big. I don't know. But it does look a little smaller in scale than normal. I can't remember which reaction of his it was that I did, but I did make a point before about his sense of timing and being very strict and very straight and never sort of deviating from the beat, unless obviously very intentionally. And I like his choice of keeping the tempo very strict because it goes with the style of this song, particularly in this major section, which in the piano arrangement, it has these sort of arpeggios, which actually are kind of mimicking a guitar. Whenever I've taught this piece in the past, that's one thing I've actually mentioned, is that these are kind of the equivalent of strums on like a stringed instrument, which is like the piano version of a strum. Bling, you know? If you imagine people dancing to that, obviously the timing needs to be very strict. So he's doing everything right so far. Let's push on. And now he's making that look easy. That's not easy. On the piano, all of those runs are all in the right hand, but the accompaniment is in the left. So to try and combine those two things into one hand, I'm not even going to try and attempt to play that on the guitar. I'll stick to my piano, I think, for this one. Let's push on. That's impressive. And he's maintaining the clarity, most importantly. On an acoustic instrument like this here, you can't get away unless it's completely clear. His bass notes, do you actually notice how his bass notes connect from one to the other? Bum, 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 bum. So it's not as if he's just about managing to fit them in. He's actually producing a phrase with that. So it really is sort of polyphonic in that sense, where you've got like a separate melody at the top and a different melody at the bottom, or a bass line if you want to call it that. But his phrasing and articulation in this is as impressive as his arrangement.
Awesome. That section is probably the most difficult piece in the entire piece, and that was great.
So what's interesting to me is he's actually made a little substitution in one of the notes there. I thought I heard it the first time around, but I wasn't completely sure. But I heard it that time on the repeat, because typically it's a D sharp that's played, but he's playing a D natural. So where you would have this, which is the B7, which is like a perfect cadence really, B to E minor. But he plays a D natural there, which gives it like a B minor sound. So that's unusual. I wonder why he's made that choice. Interesting. Okay, let's push on. like his trills as well. You know, there's different ways, obviously, that you can play a trill. So it's kind of more like a turn. There's just so many different ways that a trill can be done, and his are very tasteful. He's doing something like that, which is kind of more like a turn, really, but yeah, nice.